And we are away! Hooray! So, welcome everybody to the call today. My pleasure to be here. My name is Justin Phillips, and I'm streaming in from the beautiful Bribie Island in southeast Queensland. And today we have the amazing Yoss Sawyer, aka the Lifestyle Medicine Man, to talk to you about how to have a purposeful life and a peaceful death. So, I imagine some of the people out there maybe listening to this have a few reservations around death, and why are we talking about death? and that's good. I hope it
Why the reservations? Why the reservations? Does it mean some people have an idea to boycott death and go around it?
That's right. Not sure we want to go there. Well, it's going to happen whether we like it or not. So welcome everyone. Hello. Great for joining us today on today's interview and webinar. If you're perhaps watching the recording, thank you so much for doing that. I want to say thank you for being a part of this. But before we get started, just to ask for your cooperation, if you could please keep yourself muted. But please, by all means, use the chat box to put your comments and questions in there, do some engagement. Feel free to reach out to people, invite them onto this Zoom. We are doing Facebook Live into the Renew It Redox Facebook group, where you can also invite people, if you're a part of that group, you can invite people that you're friends with into that group and tag them in the Facebook Live. Don't be shy. Share this awesome content to the world. We're getting nuggets of gold here from Yost and our conversations. So, yeah, get it out there. And if you don't know what the Renew with Redox Facebook group is all about, by all means, reach out to us, connect with us, connect to the person that invited you to see this wonderful webinar, and invite them into the group so they can see the recordings. We've got a whole bunch of these videos now, which is really cool. And so we are here because we're passionate about empowering people with health and prosperity and sharing an extraordinary life. And some of our life experiences for my wonderful wife and I are meeting the amazing Yoss Sawyer, aka the Life Medicine Man. And Yost has an exceptional and extraordinary holistic view from coming from the traditional Chinese medicine perspective on how to live life to feel really good. And Yost has a doctorate in Chinese medicine. I met him when he was a teacher at the Australian College of Natural Medicine, supervising the student acupuncture clinic. He's been working as a therapist since 1991. And very interesting guy that Yost is. Interesting. He's had a massive passion in health and fitness. Some of his background includes competitive snow skiing at a national level, bodybuilding, triathlon, Ironman training, and so forth. But when Yost discovered Kung Fu and Tai Chi, he realized that fitness was only a part of the equation and vitality is the other. And that led him to decades of research into how to live, how to use nutritional supplements and herbal supplements and things like redox, how to have an optimal diet, how to do therapeutic exercise, weightlifting, martial arts, meditation, Tai Chi yoga to make you feel good. And when Yost added the 24-hour movement of Qi, a kind of Chinese medicine version of the body clock, and that connects our day-to-day activities to the natural cycles, he developed his Qi cycle lifestyle, and that is the ultimate in lifestyle medicine. It's founded on thousands of years of Chinese medicine, and with over 30 years of Yost academic research and practical observations from living it, Yost is an authority and an incredible speaker and can give us great insights into understanding this age-old wisdom. He's also been the author of many books and DVDs and helped international clients and run many clinics and has an extraordinary amount of experience in this field. So welcome to the call, Yost. Thank you for joining us again.
G'day. Yeah.
All right, so we're talking about purposeful life and a peaceful death. So yeah, so we're, that doesn't mean that we're finishing here today, but we are going to talk about the end. And I discovered this pretty early because I had a rough start to my adulthood. I can't say I was the happiest, most fulfilled 18-year-old. That was the beginning of my disease and illness journey with the health condition that plagued me for 20 years. And I was pretty lost, I got to say. I didn't grow up in a particular religion. My relationships with my parents was not great at this time. I felt misunderstood. I didn't feel like I had a lot of knowledge on how to live a purposeful life. And I started studying traditions and philosophies from all over the world. And one of those traditions was I went through different phases of Buddhism, from Japanese Zen Buddhism to Tibetan and so forth. And you know, the idea of death is, you know, pretty interesting. And there are civilizations like Egypt. Ancient Egypt used to have the Book of the Dead. The Tibetans have the Book of the Dead. And I started to go, what is this all about? So I can't wait to hear the Chinese traditional version of like the perspective on death. Hey.
Yeah, they all say it's pretty awesome, actually.
I can't wait because I'm thinking this is pretty awesome.
For example, Tibetan Buddhists say when you're born, you're not happy, but everyone else is happy. When you die, you're very happy, but everyone else is unhappy.
Well, that's very yin and yangish. Absolutely.
Yogananda made one famous statement about it. He said, because he's very asexual, he never talks about sex, but he said, death is like 100 orgasms.
Wow. Wow, that's interesting. I wonder if that's where, you know, in Islam they talk about, you know, some interesting things after death.
The Chinese say the same thing. Our most accelerating, our excruciating time, our best time will be the moment when we realize who we are. And that's the onset of death. That's when we realize what really goes on. It's like awakening from a dream. It's like we wake up in the morning and realize it was just a dream. So it didn't really happen. And so it's the same thing in the mornings when we, that's what they say. All the Chinese masters I studied under are identical. They just said, just wait for it. By the time you transcend into your true reality, it's incredible realization of that what you've done so far was necessary in order to do something specific. The Chinese got a very, Chinese medicine and Taoists say that heaven, which is the astral world, for some reason decided to create the physical world also in order to whatever reason. And so they created the earth, but then put human being as the mediator between the physical and the spiritual. So meaning heaven energies coming through, and then earth energies are drawn up from the ground. So that means in that moment we have a clash, because every time we incarnate, we're now incarnating with the central nervous system of a body that is temporary, where our true nature is actually is infinite. So we come in as a soul, which is the Hun, which is the infinite idea. We are created with an idea in mind, according to Chinese medicine. So every one of us is created with an idea. That means everyone's got purpose. Ask the crocodile, what's your purpose? It will do a death roll on you, and then you see its purpose. Yeah. Ask the tiger, what's your purpose? It's going to chase you. Yeah. And so animals understand purpose because they've got no choice. Yes. Human beings were brought into this world as a mediator between the physical and the heavenly energies. And human beings have got what they call a three-shed consciousness, which is translated as three-dimensional consciousness versus two-dimensional consciousness of an animal in its sort of simple term. An animal either runs away or attacks you. The plant kingdom is one-dimensional consciousness. It needs to adapt all the time. It can't run away. Like a tree can't seek shelter. A flower can't seek shelter. A flower can't just go inside the house when it rains. A flower needs to adapt. That's why herbs are so powerful, because they are adaptogens. Like the acai berry in Brazil has got the highest adaptogen potential in the world for that reason, because the berry grows on top of a palm tree in 50 degrees heat, but when you pluck the berry, it's cool inside. So it has learned to adapt to the situation by bringing up enormous power from within in order to shield itself. So that's why when we take herbs, we take on that power. Yes. Now, obviously, if as humans we would sit on that palm tree, we would last 5 minutes and we would be fried to death. So we don't have the adaptive energy, intelligence that the plant has. That's why we need herbs. That's why we need Chinese herbs. That's why we need good relevant foods. Yeah. So human beings, the consciousness is three-dimensional in that context. That means it can run away, it can attack, but it can also reflect on itself.
Mhm.
The way that the animal can't reflect on itself. So when you go to a snake, you go boo, it will attack. That's how it is. You
Mhm.
know? Because it can't. The snake will not think first. Who are you? What are you doing here? If I attack you, what does it mean afterwards and things like that? It hasn't got that consideration.
Yeah.
And so a tiger will not be considerate. It will just whack you. And that's it. Whereas humans, we can reflect. So that means we have awareness of our choices. So that means we are in a very special field. We got a very different role here. And the role is to analyze, to understand, to comprehend. So we are somehow the mediator between heavenly energies and the physical, but in the context of trying to evolve it to a next level. That's how Chinese medicine or the Taoists say human beings were brought into this world in order to evolve whatever that physical world is. It will grow through us. We expand it. So that means every soul is born with that idea to expand. Every soul has got the idea to follow up on what it feels like it's within. So everyone, in fact, has got a purpose for that reason. So then when we follow up on it and don't give in to inappropriate ideas, by the time we die, it feels awesome because that was incredible. We got it. That was one of the best missions. I love it. And when we go to the other side, it's a big party.
Cool. Yeah.
Not only the Vikings would talk like that, is every philosophy talks like that. You know, obviously, the harder we work on our mission, the more we stick with it, the more faith we have, the higher the reward afterwards. Yeah. So that's obviously it all comes down to being here in this physical. We need faith. We need to understand that this is for a reason. We are here to expand something, and we best to look. It's best when we see ourselves as being employed by heaven. Heaven incorporated. Heaven is this big, big, not Christian notion of heaven. The astral world incorporated. There are several layers, and that's the hierarchy. They're running it, and we are employed by them. So it's like we are here on a job in order to expand, but then that means we're also realizing ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally. And that's the interesting thing, isn't it? Right? Like, there's so many different religions and interpretations that, like, it could be so many religions out of one book. There's different interpretations of a book, right? And there's lots of different holy books, and there's lots of different non-religious philosophies on how to live life. My approach has always been to take the truth out of all of them, and it's amazing how you can get this clarity on what we're here for.
Yes.
And I think that, it's a small percentage of people that take the time to invest in getting that. Like, what are you here for? To deeply think about our purpose in life, and then to go out in the world and do something worthy. Do something worthy of this magnificent opportunity that we have to actually make an impact on the world. And that can be extreme. Think about some of the one person making a difference. There's, Mother Teresa, for example, extremely inspiring for a heck of a lot of people on the planet. Dalai Lama is extremely impactful for a heck of a lot of people on the planet. Dr. Wayne Dwyer, different speakers that have written books and shared their knowledge and teachings and changed the course of hundreds of thousands of lives and millions of lives on the planet. And we are all capable of that. It's like finding our purpose and getting into the rhythm of what are we employed to do.
Yeah, the Chinese medicine would say, like, the fact that you exist means it was an idea in the first place. So you can't exist without being the idea in the first place. So everyone's got an idea. But we obviously are caught up in other people's demands, other people's ideas, other people's dreams. Because the problem is, according to the Taoists, the problem is being here. It's a tough job. It's a tough mission. And a lot of spiritual masters say that the souls who decide to incarnate in human form are regarded as tough dudes.
Yeah, cool. Tough dudes.
Because it's tough, yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
we get into a reality that it's before we incarnate, we get prepared for it by our teachers on the other side in the astral world, and we're getting ready. Like it's like going into war, like you're going to war zone, because when you go, you're on your own, and so it's a war zone, and the war zone is like other people's ideas and dreams and concepts, and you've got 7 billion people on this planet. You've got 7 different ideas, yeah, and it's like a field, yeah. It's like
It is, yeah.
no one, you can't find people with like-minded ideas. They may initially meet and then very quickly realize they don't have the same idea.
Yeah. And I find that really interesting, that so many people are uncomfortable with that conflict. That they, like a lot of people almost have this expectation that their life partner or their friends have got to agree with everything that they say. But for me, and I know Nicole's the same, right? We actually really embrace that, people don't have to agree with us. Like, in fact, the disagreement is a part of life. Like, that's totally fine. But it's a part of the growing, right? And to hear someone's different perspective and to expand your own perspective from a different opinion or a different angle of seeing something. I just find that amazing in life, how so many people, they're and myself, and I'm not pointing the finger at everyone. I'm just saying, as a society, we're almost so PC, so politically correct that we don't speak up. And I'm not talking about specific issues. I'm just talking about how we feel, even what we think. And this kind of thing that's happening in society where a lot of people feel like they have to be accepted by everyone. Everyone has to agree with their opinion, but we're not. We're all different. And if we were all the same, it'd be boring. The diversity is good.
That's exactly the problem. According to Taoist, Chinese medicine, that's exactly the problem, that everyone tries to be like everyone else. And so if the crocodile tries to become like the cow, my God, what the ecosystem wouldn't work.
Yeah.
If it decides to become like the dog, ecosystem won't work. And so the crocodile will never agree with the horse. The horse can't agree with the crocodile. The crocodile is good what it's doing. It's doing a death roll in water like no one else can do. But the horse can't do it. So if the horse would become, okay, the crocodile must be right, that means I need to do death rolls. That means I have to go in the river and do death rolls all the time. It would be good for the crocodile because they got heaps of food. But the ecosystem will go down very quickly. And that means physical can't expand, yeah?
I love that analogy. That's fantastic. The bull says the crocodile's right, so I'm going to learn how to do death rolls. How many people do that? I do it. I look at someone, they must know the way. I'll try and do it their way.
Yeah, but that's like Instagram is full with influencers.
Yeah.
Who pretend to be a crocodile or in fact a rabbit. Then tell everyone else also become a crocodile. So the whole thing becomes a mess. So they're all in the
totally.
do the death rolls, and sharks come around. Oh, awesome! We got some feast here. Yeah. The physical can't expand. Our job is to expand. That can only be happen if agreement is part of the harmony. A disagreement is part of the harmony.
Yeah.
Individuality and disagreement is part of the harmony. So it's a harmonious disagreement.
Yeah. Love it. Yeah. Life is complex, but it's like the conflict is a part of the growth, right? And I really do believe if you're not growing, you're dying. If you're not expanding in your mindset and your experience of life and your emotions, you're shrinking, contracting, and you're dying. So it's such an important part of it.
The Taoists say the physical dimension is an incredible, difficult dimension to work with. The chemistry is so compressed, so condensed. We don't have that in our true nature as the spirit. So it's so condensed, that means we really need to find in there our own idea. Otherwise, it's going to it will not really grow. Yeah. And so that's why we need to, first of all, learning how to give distance to other people's need to become ourselves.
Yeah.
So we need to find our own path. That's like crucial, absolutely crucial.
That's where I find the stillness is so beautiful. Like when you clear the clutter of the monkey mind and clear the noise of the external, meaning don't, like deliberately careful what media you listen to and all that sort of stuff, and deliberately taking time out to be still, whether it's meditation or bushwalking or whatever, to get back to your authentic self, to be able to hear that calling inside, to hear that clarity of like what it is that you need to do.
Yes. So this, for that, in Chinese medicine, we call it the upper class of the medicine. And the ancient Chinese herbal text, which is China's oldest herbal text, around 2,000 years old. It's a Shen Nong Ben Kao. And it stated in there, the upper class of medicine govern the nourishment of destiny and corresponds to heaven. If one wishes to prolong the years of life without aging, one should use this. So what's happening is that Chinese medicine understands that living our destiny, follow our path, is essential, but it requires a medicine in order to do so. So when it comes down to the first answer to the question, how to live a purposeful life, it means it needs a medicine. It needs medicine. So without medicine, we can't live a purposeful life, because the danger is to give in to other people's ideas. And with the right medicines, which I want to talk about today, obviously, we understand how to give distance to other people's ideas and follow our own path. When we follow our own path, we then meet like-minded people, soulmates, soul connections, which then, as we talked last week about it, every time soul people meet, soulmates meet, chi-getters, that creates a momentum, which then it generates energy, more energy becomes available. Whereas if we give in to the needs of others and follow the path of others, that means we also meet people who don't belong to us. And that means it doesn't gather chi, it's the opposite. It zaps our chi. It kills our energy. So every time we are around people who don't belong to us, we actually lose our energy. So if we lose our energy, we become weak. If we become weak, we're getting breathing problems, we're getting panic, and we then become undepressed. And as a result of that is we don't see opportunities. So that we're getting more and more become a victim rather than actually a doer. So,
sorry, can I ask you to say that quote again? Because that was pretty obviously profound. The upper class of medicine governs.
The upper class of medicine govern the nourishment of destiny and corresponds to heaven.
Wow. I hope other people are taking notes like I do every week, because, man, that's just gold, right? that's a lot of wisdom just there.
If one wishes to prolong the years of life without aging, one should use these. So that's where it comes down to. So if one wishes to prolong the years of life without aging, one should use this. So it means, what it means basically is the Shen Nong Ben Kao 2,000 years ago stated that the upper class, the true medicine is the medicine that nourishes destiny, and it corresponds to heaven. That means we actually allow heaven information to come into us. As we allow heaven energy to come into us, we prolong the years of our life without aging, which is a fact. And what it means is we will have a happy death. Because the happy death in Chinese medicine, from that definition, based on the Shen Nong Bin Kao, means we don't have that slow decline in aging. We don't, like lots of people, we see a slow decline. They'll reach like mid-60s and then life goes downhill. And they got like a 30-year or 20-year decline, which they don't enjoy because the body aches, everything creaks, and this aches. And so then they become immobile and they finish up in nursing homes, and it's suffering. So it's good for maybe 30, 40 years of their life, and then it becomes suffering. So that means the death is not experienced at a happy death in that moment. Of course, when they die in that moment, they become aware, they're away from the pain, everything's fine. But the decline is a suffering. And with the upper class of the medicine that governs the nourishment of destiny and corresponds to heaven, what it means is it constantly brings up the energy organ in scratch and constantly revitalizes you. So that means you follow up on your mission right up to the last moment. and then maybe 92 years of age or 95 or 85, whenever the time is, whenever your astrological zodiac constellation said, that's it, you need to exit now. Suddenly the impulse comes, oh, that's it, bang, and you move on.
Yeah.
And so that means there's no this gradual decline. So I use that medicine myself, and I'm in my 60s now, and I don't relate to this gradual decline that other people of my age have. So the masters I study under, they're in the 70s and 80s, and they're as joyful and as passionate about life as when they were young. So they work very hard, they follow the destiny, they're on a mission, and then suddenly, boom, that's it. Oh, got to move on.
Yeah.
Maybe easy a day before, a little bit. Oh, I think it's exit time. Yeah, and bang, and then go. American Indians knew exactly when it's time to go. Yes, so American Indians knew exactly. Oh, that's it. I'll leave the camp behind. Say goodbye, everyone. I'm going back to where we come from. I'll go back home.
Yeah.
On my work. Yes, and obviously it's a celebration. Ideally, death should be a celebration. Everyone should be, hey, awesome, awesome, awesome. He's done it. She's done it. This is the best thing. My God, what a mission. It's celebration. Because they're happy. Yeah. You don't get like everyone who is clairvoyant and who just gets ideas about the other side knows it. On the other side, you don't, they're good. And then everyone's crying and hang on, I'm good. Yeah. The grief is the people who are left behind. Yeah. So the happy death is if we understand how to use medicines to nourish our destiny. That means all our life long we'll follow our work, what we're here for.
Yeah.
So that means obviously we never retire. We always at work. Yeah. So that's a key element.
That's totally another principle I've been following for a while now. I've got no intentions of retiring. I just have intentions of learning to live more sustainably.
Yeah.
And more on purpose.
That's why you need the medicine. Yeah. That's why you need the medicine. The medicines focus on building kidney, focus on building spleen, stomach, all the different organs that are responsible for you to identify who you are, but also develop the power, the yang, to keep distance to other people's ideas.
Mm. And, not be a sheeple. Still to respect and be familiar with your own sovereign self, your own spark.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's why mindfulness is essential for this. So if we wake up in the mornings and we go straight for the computer, if we give in to the urge to check our emails, if we give in to the urge to check Facebook, social media, that means we move away from the opportunity to get the message from heaven to tell us what we're supposed to be doing. So nothing wrong with social media, but social media, computers are a double-edged sword. They can break you or they can make you. Social media, double-edged sword, either makes you or breaks you. Mm-hmm. If you develop the distance to social media and to the computer, then you have a tool that will assist you on your destiny. Yes. So if you can't develop the distance to it, you get caught up in the pathology and the negativity and the toxic energy, the chi that is in there, and it will move you away from your destiny. So you're moving away. So this is why in Chinese medicine, the chi cycle is so crucial to follow, because early in the mornings, around 5 o'clock, that's when heaven opens up. The Buddhists, the Taoists, yogis, all three agree the best time to meet God is in the mornings. What they mean with God is the heavenly information that is available to all of us that will take us to our destiny. So that means if we wake up and we develop the resistance and the distance to the need to check emails, computers, to even keep the computer completely switched off, don't even go there. That means we already develop a chi, an energy that allows us to be centered within ourselves. Then as we get into ourselves by doing the deep breathing techniques, as we mentioned over and over, the glute training, the core training, that means we're facing our resistance. but we break in layers and layers and layers of resistances within ourselves because it's a battle with ourselves. But then as we break through the layers of this resistance, we then find the jewel, the pearl that's within us. And that pearl is the contract with heaven. Every morning it shows us who we are. I do it every morning, and the people I study with and study under, they say the same thing. There is no confusion about what's your destiny. If I would tell my master, the one I study under, oh, I'm confused about my life, he said, get up early and go mindful, transcend, and it will come to you.
Yeah.
And so it's definitely, so first of all, in order to live a purposeful life, we need to develop the skill to resist against the trend that society wants us to get caught up in. Yeah? Society wants us to become sick, according to Chinese medicine. The biggest cause for sickness is society. Yeah. So first of all, in order to follow our destiny and have a purposeful death and a purposeful life, we first of all need to find our own connection here. Yeah? And that's obviously the crucial element. In order to do that, we need the blood and the qi. That's why we need the Chinese herbs. That's why we need the red ox. We need everything. Like Yogananda always says over and over, get as much support as possible from heavenly sources. So people not taking herbs is like going into the battlefield in Yugoslavia or going to Iraq without a full metal jacket. It's like driving through Iraq, in an open car with big arrows on it. Please here, please shoot here.
Hit here, yeah. That's not good.
I'm here. I'm open. Please shoot. Yes. Chinese herbs are your full metal jacket. That's your army outfit. Like red ox is like, that's why I'm always so powerful on red ox, because red ox is like the ultimate armor. Yes, it's like, wow. And as life gets more hectic and more stressful, people develop even more potent combinations of herbs and supplements and whatever.
Yeah.
So this is the beauty of it. It's like a battlefield. The weapons become more and more complete, in the sense of like become more profound. But so becomes the supplements and the herbs. Yes? Herbal formulas are now on an understanding as never before. A lot of the herbal formulas have developed over 2,000 years, but finally they come together like on a level as never before. Yes, so by combining some of the herbal formulas, my God, it causes incredible. Yeah. So honest herbs and red ox is essential for, that's your full metal jacket. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Then the next thing is obviously your breathing technique. Everyone needs to learn how to breathe. Yeah.
Yep.
I want to talk about something very important, because that comes up all the time now, and that's obviously the pandemic, the COVID issue. Yeah. Because we live now in times where it seems to be more and more difficult for people to tap into purpose as ever before.
Yeah.
Because disruptions, yes. And but when you really see what's going on with COVID, it's whatever is in this physical can't exist without it being somehow part of the bigger picture. Yeah, yeah. So it can't, whatever we're experiencing, whatever exists, like whatever virus becomes acknowledged, it can't exist without actually it has been already within ourselves in terms of an imbalance. So Chinese medicine states that this ecosystem in this world is so profound. It's yin and yang. Yin is the building, yang is the destruction. So when we eat food, it gets destroyed, it then creates new. Yin and yang, destruction, creation coexist. So we can't have this physical without destructive element. They can't exist. Yeah? Mm-hmm. And move into the world and expand the physical, and according to what happens within, the outer manifests in accord, because the inner and the outer is in direct communication with each other.
Mm-hmm.
It's inner ecosystem, outer ecosystem. As a result of that is, whatever happens within, it now presents the outer, so it balances itself.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So that means the virus that comes in is the means in order to balance the system.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So everything is designed to balance it. Like a crocodile, you can't blame a crocodile when it's doing the death roll. It's following an information in order to balance nature.
Mm-hmm.
Like every time someone gets eaten by a crocodile, they're going to shoot the crocodile. It's bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like telling
Got
a
a
young
purpose.
don't have an erection. You shouldn't have sex thoughts. It's the same thing. It's like, yeah, it's the same thing. It's like we can't interfere with what is given to nature. Nature got a plan. We need to read the plan. We need to understand the plan. And that means we need to adapt to the situation, adaptogens.
Yeah.
We need to understand the intelligence of the plant kingdom, the intelligence of the animals, and then reflect on it and then engage with it.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
I think that's what you just said there. Nature has a plan. We need to learn from the plan, read the plan, and follow the plan. And that's where I find is where the major dysfunction of humanity is.
Yeah. So when you look at, like, in fact, nature is our teacher. Like nature is God. That's why Tao is nature. Tao means it's intelligent, the flow of nature. It's God. It's always right. Analysis takes it off. Thinking takes it off. So it appears to be crude, but it's righteous. It's always right. Yeah. So a crocodile will not determine and discriminate between who you are, black, white, uneducated, non-educated. It doesn't care. It's going to do a death roll, and that's it. And it then will do a balance in that moment to the ecosystem that's beneficial. It will not discriminate. Yeah. So nature will never discriminate. So when nature shows us the way, it's not because of discrimination. It's because of yin and yang, because of teaching us. That's Tao. Yes. So we have to look at COVID as a teacher, because it's about learning our purpose here, how to live a purposeful life and a peaceful death. We're going to look at COVID as our teacher.
Yeah. I see there's two paths. There's a minority of people. You know, this morning I went to a yoga class, caught up with the lady there that runs that class, and she and I it's been an amazing time. Right? COVID's actually been like a fantastic time in so many ways. There's a minority of people that I think are on their purpose and are loving it, and they can feel the change. And then there's the majority, which are in crisis. And I think that's the problem when you're not on purpose and there is big changes like COVID, it's painful.
Okay, I want to show 5 categories that COVID is teaching us right now. 5 categories. And it's in line with the 5 elements. Whenever nature teaches us, it's always based on the 5 phases of transformation. The 5 elements: earth, metal, water, wood, lung, so fire. So fire goes into the earth becomes the metal becomes the water becomes the wood, then the fire. So whole nature, the Tao, is regulated by the 5 transformational phases of the 5 elements. They're not static. So that means whenever nature teaches us, it has 5 elements, 5 categories. So category number 1, COVID teaches us, it shows us our weakness and helplessness. So weakness and helplessness in Chinese medicine is immunity. It's metal element, immunity. Yeah. So first of all, when it comes to our living a purposeful life, and COVID is teaching us right now, everyone has a purpose. Everyone's purpose right now is build your immunity. Just address your weakness, your helplessness, and become immune. Like the Spartan system, like the Spartans really followed nature. Yeah. The battle, war, let it outside in order to really strengthen immunity. Yeah? Bang. There's no weakness in the Spartans. It's just like nature. It's all about getting strong. Chinese medicine teaches us to get strong, not to get weak. Yes, and it says it never says anywhere we want you to become weak. Heaven wants us to become strong. That's why, in order to expand it, we strengthen ourselves. So the first category that teaches us COVID is weakness and helplessness. So we're gonna, okay, everyone's purpose is now build immunity. Because when your immunity is strong, it can't get in. That's how it is. Immunity if your immunity is strong, it's like the metal, it will ward it off. That's your full metal jacket.
Yeah.
That's like, if your immunity is strong, I've never met a Tai Chi master or a Chinese master who was concerned about COVID. Let us build immunity. Yes, get strong. Full metal jacket. The next thing that COVID teaches us is breathing problems. Because every time you hear about COVID, you hear about breathing problems. So we need to learn how to breathe. In society, we never learn how to breathe. Schools don't teach how to breathe. Everyone's purpose right now is to learn how to breathe. So we need to learn how to breathe, because when we breathe proper, we are able to expand heavenly demands. Like, because life, even the Christian scripture said, life starts with breath. Breath is when it starts. So when we enter the physical, it starts with breath. So breath is the key. When we receive the breath, we receive the information of heaven. So it's directly connected to the water element in that regard. So that's your contract with heaven. Once we open up to the breath, we have the assignment start, the mission starts. That's it. Our contract with heaven is established. We are now on mission. We're now going to kick some ass. We are now, the helicopter or the ship, whatever that is, we are being transported towards the battlefield, has landed, and the breath is bang, we're in. Yeah, it's just like when you watch that movie Avatar, it was great how they worked with the breath. They always looked at breath as being instrumental because breath allowed them to enter the other dimensions.
Yeah,
so they're ready to enter if they've got the breath right. So they needed to work with the breath. Yeah.
Yep.
And so that means, obviously, first of all, we need to. That's why breathing techniques are essential. If we don't breathe correctly, as we spoke about this in every webinar so far, people's breathing is shallow and it's in the upper category between your mouth and your sternum, your upper chest. That means you don't get the support of heaven, because heaven is deeply rooted in your kidney. That's where your contract with heaven is. So in order to touch your contract with heaven, we need to take our breath into the kidneys. That means deep breathing. That means we need to learn. That's why I tell everyone, Wim Hof is, just start that. Wim Hof has done what yogis, he took the essence of 4,000 or 5,000 years of yogi training, 4,000 years of martial art training. He understood the essence and put it all available for the Western person so they can get it quickly right now instead of training for years.
Absolutely. I'll put those links in the chat box as well, because you did a thing on breath, but also Wim Hof's free YouTube. It's friggin' free.
It's profound because I've been doing this for 35 years, and what he talks about it, he takes it, what took me 10, 20 years to learn, you can learn in Wim Hof in one hour. Yeah. And it's an accelerated method. So everyone, we need to start the day with breathing. If you get the breath right in the mornings, you got the day right. Yes. So the breath carries your purpose, because the breath is life. Why is that? Because your breath, the correct breath connects you to your kidney. And the kidney is where your contract with heaven is stored, according to Chinese medicine. Our destiny is the kidney. That's where it's stored. So the deep breath takes you, the harder you breathe, the more deeper, the more effective you breathe, the more you're taken to your destiny. And what happens when you breathe proper? You develop distance to other people's ideas. Yeah.
I love the idea, and some of the courses I was doing a decade ago was about die a little death at the end of every breath.
Yeah.
Because that time is gone, that now is gone, that's in the past. It's like, enjoy every breath, and as you exhale, that full exhalation, that moment, bang, you're born again, breathe again. Just that rhythm.
Yeah, for example, with the way I combine, obviously I combine my breathing techniques with what Wim Hof talks about. I talk the Kriya meditation. I do a lot of other combined from these, but it's all the same similar. For example, first of all, with the Wim Hof technique, you saturate your body with oxygen, and then you go into the working with your body's oxygen supply. So you go the other way, where you just hold, on the in breath you hold it as long as possible, and on the out breath you hold it as long as possible. So you really just go out breath and then hold it. And obviously Wim Hof can do that for 7 minutes. Yeah,
That's wild. That is wild.
That's Tai Chi masters. Yeah, and so with Tai Chi, it's amazing. With Tai Chi, you can go 2-3 minutes without just living on that oxygen supply if you do the first. So we always do that, saturating the body with oxygen first. First thing when we start the day, saturate the body with oxygen, then compress it in the body.
That's it. On a good day, I can do 3 minutes. That's on a good day, like that's flat out. But yeah, it's tough. That's that full exhalation, that full inhalation, holding both times.
But if you go in by the time you're working, compressing the oxygen and going into and remain the out breath mode, what happens is you're burning all the toxic energy, all the toxic chi. So this is what Chinese medicine talks about, the lung and large intestine energy. That's a chi cycle. So that's a chi cycle. That's how the chi starts. First of all, saturate the body with oxygen, then let go of the toxins. So you do that by holding the out breath, compressing it. It burns all the negative stuff. Yeah, and then you obviously open up to the deep breath again. Now it's amazing how your breathing opens up after a while. It's like whoa, just like it's It always says it's like it's very important. All right. So the next thing that COVID teaches us, the third one, it's all about panic. So when we talk about COVID, all we hear about is panic, pandemic.
Panicdemic, yeah.
So what panic shows us, panic is in fact lack of yin. So when we panic, it is because there's no yin to hold us down, because yin means security. If the yin is strong and solid, that means you're so calm. Yin is calm. When we panic, there's no yin. And the lifestyle that we have left, that the Western world lived before COVID, was all about yang expression, yin depletion. Massive yang, yang, yang. That's why everyone likes the lockdowns from that perspective, because finally they go, yeah, away from this constant demand, yeah. And so, but what it means, panic means we aren't able to be calm. So that means COVID teaches us that everyone's purpose right now, how to live a purposeful life, is to become calm, not to panic. Don't panic, be calm. So how do we become calm? By yin, looking at yin, developing yin. Obviously, that's a chi cycle. So everyone needs to read about the chi cycle, because if you follow the path of yin and yang, your yin develops. The chi cycle is all about yin. Yes, because if your yin is strong, fertility is strong. That means you're passionate about life. You got fertility. You got storage. Because yin stores. It's a storage, and that means you got lots of vitality. That's why Western exercise didn't interest me after a while, because it didn't give me that vitality that I saw in the Chinese. Yeah, and the Chinese masters have got vitality, which is the edge over the Western exercise. Okay, in the Western exercise, they may run all kind of crazy marathons and do all kind of CrossFit stuff, but where's the longevity here? And the longevity factor is obviously is yin. That means if the yin is strong, you always rebound. You're always just strong. So Chinese medicine puts all the focus in health first on yin. So so that's where that's vitality is coming into. But
crazy stat on that. Crazy stat in the US. You look at the most powerful, like ultimate professional athlete, a gridiron player. Expected lifespan 56. Professional athlete 65. Average person, 76.
It's crazy. So like because in the Western world we don't understand much about yin. Like in my world in the martial art, like in the Western, Muay Thai clubs have taken away all the yin. So it's all about aggressions. A lot of the kickboxing clubs in the West don't do any yin building. But when you go to Thailand, it's all about the yin. Before they start battling, fighting each other, they do 2 hours yin training. They celebrate the gods, they celebrate the Buddhas, they do the yin dance. They just bring the first of all, the storage of the yin. Yeah.
So good to hear. I've got a mate that's in Koh Samui right now that's looking at getting into Muay Thai. That's where Muay Thai came from, Koh Samui.
Yeah. So COVID teaches us that we need yin. So that means if we have yin, we will be calm. And that means the antidote to don't panic is calm. Energetically, it means yin, lots of yin. If we are calm, we are able to see our destiny. Yes. Mm-hmm. So because the physical is a battlefield, and when you listen to the advice of Navy SEAL commanders, the training is all about being calm. So when the shit hits the fan and they're right in the midst of the madness, their skill development is all about be calm, don't panic. No one, you can't be a Navy SEAL if you panic, because if you panic, you don't do good decisions.
Yep.
COVID makes everyone panic. That means everyone makes bad decisions.
Yeah.
That means the result of that is everyone's purpose right now is to become calm. And that's yin development, yin building. Yeah.
Yep.
And so category 4, the fourth thing that COVID teaches us, it's about the rebellion. Rebellion is all over the world. Yeah. It's like there's another demonstration in Germany now is 2 million people or whatever. It's just like, it's everywhere now. So you can't have COVID news without a rebellion somewhere.
Yeah.
So COVID teaches us it's about rebellion. And what rebellion means is, in Chinese medicine, rebellion is crucial, it's essential, because it means you don't give into other people's demands. That's what it's teaching us. COVID teaches us, don't give in to other people's demands. It's about follow your own path. That's what it means. That's what the essence of COVID is. That's the essence of the rebellion of Tao, of heaven, telling us, teaching us, don't give in to other people's demands, follow your own path. Because too long people have lived in accord with other people's demands. Yeah. So you can't build, like the Nazi Germany couldn't have built without their having followed other people's demands. So a realized society is where everyone follows their own demands, their own path, not some sort of dictator. And so where we are right now is that humanity, the planet Earth, moves into the next level of its evolution, where we reject dictatorship, but where we also reject other people's demands and follow our own path. That's the essence underlying it. That's what it means. So that means in order to follow our own path, we obviously got to follow the chi cycle. We got to start, first of all, learn how to breathe. Build our immunity and become calm by building yin. And then we can see our path. So if we react to the rebellion and join everyone on the streets, we follow, once again, other people's ideas.
Yep.
So it's like doing the same thing on the other end of the scale.
Yeah, and we're seeing that around the world, some extreme left.
Yeah, it's not necessarily doing any. So it's from a Chinese medicine perspective, first of all, take a deep breath, build your immunity, build yin. That means you will discover who you are and what you need to be doing, and you follow up on that, whatever that is. Yeah, it may need for you to start an organization or a movement, or it may need you to start teaching. Yeah. So whatever it is, and that takes us to the fifth category. The fifth category, what COVID shows us, is the collapse of business. Business collapses everywhere. You can't talk about COVID without a business collapse.
Yeah.
That what it means is there are new opportunities, totally new business opportunities. And that's really, truly living our purposeful life. Yes.
Yep.
And because a lot of businesses were the result of not following the path of yin and yang. A lot of businesses aren't healthy businesses. Yes, a lot of business of the past, not good businesses, because they violate the laws, or they're producing product that will harm nature, or they develop a business that will harm the human spirit. A lot of business have to crash. They have to collapse. I'd say 80% of the business need to crash because they're not good. They're not ethically good. They're not in line with heaven's demand. Instead, we need new ideas coming through. For example, I'll give you an example of what I mean. You can't talk about COVID without talking about aged care, because all the talk in COVID is about aged care facilities. This is where the new business opportunities are, because who of us wants to go in such nursing home conditions?
Yeah, totally.
Who wants to do that?
Yeah, we've got something really cool on Bribey, and people are paying $1 million plus to get into this retirement village. That's freaking awesome. It's got the best facilities on the island. Like, the public don't have access to anything as good as this massive retirement home with cinemas and big rooms and gyms and all this cool stuff. But that's the minority, I know. You know, the vast majority of nursing homes, when I was a paramedic, I made me feel sick to be in them.
But that's the future. When we see like the old business has to crash, a lot of business have to collapse, simply because then they are part of a system that belongs to the old, that either makes people sick or overpowers people and doesn't allow people to realize themselves. Yes. So a lot of business don't, like, how many people have I met in my time said, I want to become myself, but I'm working in this business, I can't be myself. Yeah, that business has to crash.
Oh, do you get that a lot too? I have that all the time.
Now it's a time to start a new business. Yeah, and so obviously we can't start a business unless, first of all, immunity is in place, unless we know how to breathe, unless we got the yin, so we don't panic. Because if you start a business and you panic, you got bad immunity and you're weak immunity, and you panic all the time and you're reactive, it won't last long and you're going to be booming. You know, it's a battlefield. Being in the physical is a battlefield. And before we engage with the final stage of realizing ourselves and starting a new business, we've got to first of all have in place breathing techniques, immunity, the ability to be calm so we don't panic, and then understand exactly what it is that we need to follow. Only then, before we start a business, we got to have those prerequisites. Unfortunately, no business school teaches that. They all teach about the exact opposite. Work 24 hours in the day and do this, and don't eat during the day so you can work harder, so it doesn't slow you down. So you just become an instrument for some other person's idea who makes lots of money of you, and then they become not happy anyway because they didn't follow the Tao.
Yeah,
if you
totally.
violate other people's values, you won't have a happy death. Yeah? The happy death, the peaceful death, is the result of having done something in your life where you empowered other people. So by the time you cross over, gee, that was an incredible mission. I helped that person. I realized that person. It's like in war. How many mates have, I helped this mate come over. I went back to the firing line and I brought that mate back. That's what makes you happy.
Yeah, that's right. Those are the times you got to think about in your deathbed. It's not that I did an extra 30 minutes overtime.
Yeah, the happy moments are the ones when you saved your mates, not how you killed someone. Yeah. And so a lot of the businesses have to crash because they kill people. They kill people's spirit. Yeah? We got to understand. But demand will never end. Business will never stop. It will shift into the next. Potential energy will always become kinetic by creating something new. So we need to understand, first of all, we need to go with heaven, and we need to understand we got to bring immunity in place. We learn how to breathe. we become calm, or we follow our own path. Now I've got the business idea.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And it's amazing the inspiration that we have, the intuition that we have when we are balanced. When we set the foundation of a chi lifestyle, it's just amazing what just keeps coming. What just keeps coming. I'm middle of a yoga class, and I get amazing ideas about the business. It's so cool and it's so fun.
Yeah, that's the idea. And the beauty of it, if you like, the chi cycle is crucial, because if you follow the chi cycle, you don't overwork yourself.
Yeah.
Like exponential. If you start the day by developing the skills to resist the need to check your phone, to resist the need to check your computer, to stay away from computers and phones till after breakfast. If you develop that skill, you get already incredible power moving through you. You will be more effective at work. Yeah. So now the next thing is, by developing the skill to break through the emotional resistance of doing a rigorous practice, such as core training, glute training, because you need to work with your glutes, work with Tai Chi. Tai Chi is difficult art. It's very hard work. But that means you break through the layers and layers of emotional resistance. You do it. By the time you have breakfast, you go into yin mode, you go, you have battled yourself so many layers of emotional resistances. The power is in. Then when you go into work mode, you will do in 2 hours productivity that otherwise would take 10 hours. Yeah?
Yeah,
so exactly. That means by the time comes lunch, you can take it easy because you've done enough.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. When you taught me to cruise in the afternoon, changed my life.
Because you need to take it easy. Otherwise you follow other people's ideas.
Yeah.
It's like work more effective, not harder. That's
it. Yep. So work smarter, not harder.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Well, look, that's been again a bunch of nuggets of wisdom. I hope everyone's like taken as many notes as I have, and taken some of those quotes down and looked at those life lessons that are coming out of this extraordinary time that we're living in. I'll put some links there in the chat box to get, if you haven't yet read Jost's book, Clock on to Health, and had a look at that, so you can get his herbs there as well, the Chinese herbs, and of course the redox. Get back to the person that invited you here to get your redox. There's some links there for the breathing tutorials as well from Jost and from Wim Hof. That's a free thing on YouTube. It's amazing. So yeah, I hope everyone's feeling a little bit more centered and focused on how to be living a purposeful life. When you live a purposeful life and a meaningful life, then you can have a peaceful death as well. It's just a part of the cycle. I remember a little boy, I was learning, people said, death, life. The two truths in life is death and taxes, but there's three truths, and that's death, taxes, and change. And learning to adapt is a big part of the growth and the expansion and the purpose that we have in life. So thank you so much for joining us on the call. Thank you if you've watched the replay on Facebook Live. Invite your friends into the group. Tag them in the videos. There's all of the repeats there as well. Thank you everyone for attending from all over the world. And any last words of wisdom before we clock off for today, Jost?
Very simple. Heaven wants you to succeed. So go within and take on the mission and kick ass.
I love that. You're awesome, Jost. You're amazing. Thank you so much for all you give to us. Have a wonderful day and a wonderful week, everybody. Same time next week. Catch you then. Bye for now.
Bye.